I got this script memorized like a good person. Okay. Alright, is this good for the mic? Is that good? I don't think the angle's good. I don't want to hold the mic. Okay, maybe I don't have to hold the mic. Materializing. That's me materializing into the frame. I have the Goomba plushie, but I don't want to use it, so I'm gonna use this shark plushie that I bought. Anyway, growing up, I love robot characters. They were the most impactful characters for me because whether or not it was their design or their story, I just love robot characters. For instance, I love BMO from Adventure Time.
You can be our leader.
I don't think I can. I'm not grown up, or I'm too grown up now. I think I just killed someone.
Jenny from My Teenage Life as a Robot.
Hey, XJ7. What's got you down?
Oh, life, the universe, everything.
Futurama. Bender from Futurama.
Whoa, a real live robot? Or is that some kind of cheesy New Year's costume?
Bite my shiny metal.
Karen from SpongeBob. I mean, that's obvious. That's a given.
From A to Y.
A to Y?
Yeah, A to Y, you know, the alphabet.
What about Z?
And Gur from Invader Zim.
I'm not going to eat that!
All these robots, I just looked up to them because they just felt something, a connection. I felt like I had a connection with them. So I started to realize something. I started to realize that robots are autistic. Not outright autistic, but autistic coded. And I think I have proof on how robots are just like autistic people. Alright, that's pretty much it.
According to the law in New Jersey, it is illegal to slurp your soup.
First things first, I gotta say is I got autism and dealt with this growing up all my life. I could never feel like I could fit in with a group of people. Not saying I want a pity party, but I want to tell the world my experience through a video essay without it being overly sad or boring. And what better way to explain how I dealt, felt, and experienced, still currently, autism with a video about robots.
Let me do one! I launched that pug into space!
I didn't know the best way to structure this video, but I'm gonna go over life examples that I came across and cross-reference them with selected characters. Also, I want this video not to be only for people who are autistic. I want to talk about everyone who's included in feeling not being accepted into a community because they are slightly different, like people who are trans, gay, bi, non-binary, or just people who have a hard time acclimating to different social situations. And later on in this video, I'll be establishing what I want for this community and why I made it. But for now, my biggest takeaway is I want people to learn from this, not to be alienated, because why would I subject people to the same thing I went through? Make it make sense. With that, let's get into the first life example.
We could rule them like gods. Angry gods.
I know this can be applied to anyone who's neurodivergent, so with that being said, experiencing a hyperfixation is like a robot being given its program. It's like when Germa said,
"I'm killing you. I don't care about anything else. I don't give a shit about anything else. My programming is just get that fucking guy right now." It doesn't, there is no like, "Oh, he's running? I'll back off a little." No, it's just until I get you.
Okay, maybe not the killing part, but solely focusing on one topic, fixating on it. In a way, robots do the same thing, because they are programmed to do so. One of my favorite examples from this year is G.I. Robot from Creature Commandos, a DC animated TV show. I don't know if this will get me demonetized, but he would krill very bad people who did very bad things. It sounds like German was right, but wait, just wait. I'll show you one of his clips.
If so, they will be dispatched of.
in short order.
Well, I don't think there are any Nazis here.
That's what a Nazi would say.
This was one of the reasons why I made this video. His hyperfixation is so funny and relatable to real life. With me, I have a hyperfixation on SpongeBob. Dude, I could literally go on and on talking about this show. Hell, I could stop making videos right now, stop what I'm doing, and only make videos about SpongeBob. But that's not what I'm gonna do. Even with having a fixation, I won't have a breathing room for other topics. But back to the point. I think you can see the correlation with robots and hyperfixation. Just replace GI Robot wanting to krill people with any other fixation. And if you think he's the only type of robot to do that with a fixation, there are many more, like M.O. from WALL-E. Yes, his name is M.O. For the longest time, I thought it was a cleaner robot. My bad, bro. But you can understand where I'm coming from. With that, let's move on to the next example.
I'm sorry. That sounds awful.
Yeah, well, what are you gonna do? Life's a bitch and then you die, right?
Sometimes. Sometimes life's a bitch and then you keep living.
Yeah.
For people who have autism, they speak as what is on their mind, being very blunt on what they say. I, personally myself, has said a couple of things very bluntly without really being gentle about it. But the most important thing about this is common sense. Sometimes autistic people are lacking in certain areas for common sense. Robots do the same thing with having literal communication because they also lack common sense. If a question is asked, they will answer with the knowledge that they were given. For instance, Bobbert from The Amazing World of Gumball went through a whole episode of taking what Gumball said literally. It happens in season 2, episode 14, The Bet. Like the name implies, Gumball makes a bet with Bobbert, and whoever wins gets to be the servant for 24 hours. The way he wins is even through literal communication.
Really? Well, I bet you can't say the alphabet faster than me.
Challenge accepted.
The alphabet.
Recomputing question. Trick detected.
This can correlate with autism because not only does this apply to literal communication when being blunt, but it can also apply to jokes being taken literally. For instance, sarcasm.
I feel ridiculous. Oh, I agree. She's a real looker now. And in case you didn't know, that was sarcasm.
One time, my teacher brought in Orbeez. It's a non-toxic water gel bead that if you soak it in water, they turn into water balls. That's the best description you're gonna get. I, at the time, thought they were some form of jelly beans. I didn't know what they were, and he said sarcastically to me, "Eat one, they're super good." With the trust of his words and not fully understanding sarcasm, I did. And it was mid. I gave it a 6 out of 10. But at the end, he told me it was Orbeez and showed me the commercial. Even though that's an innocent example, there can be far severe worse examples than that. And I will be going over a video about this episode. But Bobbert would completely do something like that. Another example from the show, Gumball told Principal Brown to get lost. And guess who took it literally?
I wish that guy would just get lost.
Nah, like if that happened to me, like imagine waking up in the middle of nowhere. What is this, Slender Man? Not only do jokes go over our heads, or we take jokes literally, or if we speak as what is on our mind, we also have a certain way we communicate sometimes. Like, sometimes we have no reflection in our voice and is straight monotone. For instance, think of Rattleball from Amazing World of Gumball.
I know you're back there.
I brought you a muffin.
I don't eat muffins. I'm a robot.
His voice is just straight and narrow to the point. And he's also a robot. Alright. My last example for this section is Bender, because why not talk about him? Bender is the complete package when it comes to being blunt and what he wants or what is on his mind. Honestly, there's no one other than him who would tell you straight up what he's thinking.
I'm going to jump!
Oh! Do a flip!
I don't know if he's the best example, but at least he's an example. but I think you can understand how literal communication and autistic robot coded characters are one another. So with that, let's move on to the next one.
Hi there. Oh, sorry.
Alright everyone, grab your food, get a comfortable place to sit. This one's gonna get a little sad. But not like sad in a way where it's sad just to be sad, but sad because of the circumstance of the situation being sad. Do you sadly get what I mean? Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that emotions develop differently with people who have autism. I think that's a given base information, but I want to treat this as if you didn't know what autism is. To give you the best example that I came up with personally, think of a box. You know, that metaphorical box that everyone talks about. One person says think outside of the box, and another person says think inside the box. Someone with autism would look at the box and ask if they could deconstruct it. Another person with autism might ask if they could add another box. Autism let us think differently than most people. I don't want to use the word normal because it's already a harmful mindset, and I'll touch on that topic later. But we live in a society where the minority, people with autism, are not recognized enough nor have outlets or representation of how autism affects the daily person. And I want you guys to recognize what I just said, how autism affects the daily person. They are still people. We are still people. But in media, they depict us as some know-it-all genius with an IQ of 1,000,000 who saves the day. Like The Good Doctor, that one kid off of Predator, or that one stupid movie Rain Man, where the dude could count how many toothpicks fell on the floor due to his autistic savant. I'm not necessarily upset at these interpretations, but I'm not happy with them. And this is how it ties back to robots. Like that transition? BMO is a robot in the hit show Adventure Time, who was made to be more. I actually made a video, highly suggest not checking it out, it's poorly outdated, but I made a video speaking about how BMO is neurodivergent because they were made differently from all the Mo robots. To have more than one feeling and to think of all the possibilities they could do with the metaphorical box. BMO would probably make the box their friend. And this ties back to how people who have autism develop feelings differently. This relates to how we sort out our own feelings when growing up and understanding each feeling as we go. We people with autism grasp and wrestle with these emotions till we finally rest at the end. Also, our emotions can be just as volatile as we're trying to wrestle and grasp with them. Think of Gur from Invader Zim. When he offers Zim's waffles,
I'm not going to eat that.
it's one moment he's happy, then the next he's super sad. With Gur, he represents me a lot because he's super happy at all times.
Okay, Gur, I will try.
Like how I try to treat life. And sometimes I can get really sad and depressed just out of nowhere, just like that. Some autistic people are the same. And also, while saying that, some autistic people are different. Some people see life as Daria from the show Daria. I know she isn't a robot, but she's still an icon. She kinda has an opposite view of optimism, being mostly pessimistic. In a way, she's just wary of each topic, situation, and whatnot. To get to my point, it's hard growing up with these emotions that are hard to understand. It's so difficult, it makes it hard to make friends, join in with a group of people, or relate to one another. From my personal experience, it's hard to fit in with groups of people. It was hard for me to join fandoms, still hard for me to this day, but I always felt like I either was an outsider or a bystander to when big events happen in communities or small get-togethers. But like I said, I don't want this video to be a pity party. I want this video to reach as many people who has been in my situation. Like I said, if you aren't autistic and still deal with these problems, I want to connect with you. I'm not saying you have to be autistic to understand how I feel, but I'm using it as a reference point to where I came from. I want my community to be more. Like, that's a BMO joke, but I want this community to be for everyone. I don't want this to just be for people who are neurodivergent or neurotypical, but I want this community to be for people who are trans, gay, ace, straight. I don't care who you are. I just want to get to know more people because I think it's a beautiful thing that we can connect together as humans on things we like. In a way, I'm also saying I want to be a reference point for people who are also autistic, a role model, if you will. I use robot characters as an accurate depiction of autistic people because that's what I grew up with and that's what I looked up to for people who were autistic. I want this channel to be a place for people to look up to me, not only autistic or non-autistic, but just people who want to strive to learn more about one another. That's why I've been so heavily pushing my Discord. Not only do I want my beautiful artists to shine, but people who want to connect to one another. My goal is to stop the why can't you be more normal mentality when it comes to disabilities in society. Many people who have autism or is neurodivergent have to put a mask on to only hurt themselves to join in with others to act normal, to be seen as normal. I'm tired of that. I want to be myself. I want others to be themselves, being whimsical and happy like Gurr, or sometimes socially awkward like Bobber, or be blunt as a bat like Bender, or have hyperfixations like G.I. Robot, nerding out about what I love, or seeking out my emotions like BMO. I want to be myself. From doing a poll of 34 people who answered, which that doesn't translate to my subscribe count, but I believe there are autistic people in my community. I hope this video is a staple where I can stand for my homies, not only for autistic, but people of color, neurodivergent, LGBTQ, or people. I want my content to be accessible to everyone and anyone. But also at the same time, please tell me if you think that I overstepped or if you think that my correlations are not valid. Again, one of my biggest things that I'm saying is that I'm not calling people, autistic people, robots. I'm saying that robot characters are very similar to being autistic coded. So what do you guys think? I know there is representation of autistic characters already, like I previously mentioned, Daria, or Regan from Inside Job, Mercy Wu from Amphibia, Donatello from Team Mutant Ninja Turtles. I could keep going on and on, but I just have never seen anyone make a big correlation with robots and autistic characters. I know everyone and their mother has made a video about the topic, so I don't know if I discovered anything new. I would love your guys' feedback. Maybe you see it differently. I don't know. Thank you to my Flower members. You can join in with the YouTube membership for only $1. This part of the video is either going to be outdated or it's going to help me improve my new channel. But I have a new channel, guys. It's called MF Goober, where I do video essays on video games, horror games, and just any games. So I would love the help if you guys can support that channel. Thank you for watching, and make sure to follow the artist mentioned in the video. How do outros go again nowadays? Do I say something epic? Ka-chow!